are extraterrestrial. We are KNR.
We're social. Check us out on Facebook.
At Keith and Casey Radio.
Mphulaphula nomthando Keith Ngesi Radio. It is Keith Ngesi Radio, and it is radio according to you. Mandinbulse wena Mphulaphula nomthando Keith Ngesi Radio busanda usijoyina ke. Today I did tell you ke we are currently live on Facebook. I did say to you intobana ke sabe sinaye uSisi Nosi. She's currently in studio, hence in kalenda veza yena ke before nibone mna wena Mphulaphula nomthando Keith Ngesi Radio. Remember, you can contact us pa WhatsApp usithumelele ke lo myalezo ufuna usithumelela wona if you're going through something but ke nizazivela basawuthetha ngantoni. Our WhatsApp lines are 0661372723. That is 0661372723. Pa ku Facebook we're currently live singuye ke Keith Ngesi Radio. Kanjena kanjalo na ku Twitter we are most definitely and most certainly Keith Ngesi Radio. Masizibulisele ke sisino sikuwe.
Thank you so much for the invite. Mandibulise kuwe Vuyo, ndibulise na kuwe Mphulaphula Pekhaya.
Yes.
And yeah.
Please introduce yourself. I'm gonna be smiling when I'm Mphulaphula nomthando Keith Ngesi Radio because I've got someone that I can proudly say she's very close to me. I'm very close to her because of certain things. But ke mandinga still shine yakhe. Let me just let her greet you ngokwakhe.
Okay. Mphulaphula Ekhaya, igama lami Nosi Ntweni. I'm a counseling psychologist by profession. Private practice, so yes, I'm a mental health professional, obviously. So yes, I am here to talk about the issues of mental health.
All right, masiyenze ke umzuzu mnye nje ibethile ke la ntsimbi yesine. So today we're in conversations with uSisi Nosi Ntweni. Seyitshilo ke na wazichaza into yobana she's a psychologist. She's a lot. Bangama ngenyawo, I promise you. If fitness and ibona she's a lot kuningi nje, but today we'll be focusing on indoors and mental health. See, a lot of people, more especially men, a lot of people and men sifa ngaphakathi.
Okay.
Siyabulaleka ngaphakathi, we can't talk. Given that it's the mental health month, intoni what masiqale kwicareer kuqala.
Okay.
What made you choose into bana wenze into as in connection with psychology?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. I started my career in psychology at the age of, I was in my early 30s. Well, I thought about it in my late 20s. I was working then as a lecturer. I was in IT. I was lecturing accounting and a whole lot of things. So, but after lecturing for 14 years, I realized that I spent most of my time with my students. Instead of talking about computers, we would talk about human behavior.
Okay.
So I was always interested in human behavior in general. It always fascinated me, why are people behaving the way they behave? I always wanted to find indlela to explain human behavior. So that was the first motivation for me. But I went through some stuff,
okay.
Which is one of the things that I went through was I was in an abusive marriage. For relationship, including marriage, it was about 9.5 years. And then after doing a lot of research, I found out that I was actually in an abusive relationship, and I found my way out of that relationship. But because of I had seen psychologists during my marriage, and I had seen social workers. I had seen a couple of counselors, but some of them were actually not very equipped or were not very good. I don't know how to put it, but in terms of helping, they were not very understanding of abusive relationships. Do you understand?
No, I get you.
So yes, that actually motivated me to be the help that I was looking for.
Okay.
So in a nutshell, that is actually what drove me into the career of counseling psychology.
It goes back to Lando Mphulaphula nomthando Keith Ngesi Radio, but when you do what you love, because more than anything, when you pick her up, is the fact that uyayithanda. she loves the reason she's doing it. It's because she loves what she's doing. And also, ke ngoku kokuyithanda kwakhe, it makes it easy for her to talk to the next person. Coming to my next question, into yokubaluleka kothetha nomntu, the importance of talking to someone. It could be anyone, not specifically a psychologist, but I want the importance of actually taking a step to go and talk to a psychologist. Xa unalo ngxaki. What can you say the important is on talking to someone, psychologist?
Okay. So I think that question is actually twofold. The first one is talking to someone in general.
Yes.
I always encourage people to talk to someone. Ne? And if you feel like you're unheard by that particular person, the first person that you spoke to or you speak to, go to the next person until you feel that somebody is actually can hear you.
Is listening.
Because, yes, because what is important is that the person must listen and the person must understand, because most people feel they are misunderstood. Yabo? So, yes, it's important. But for some people, you talk to someone or you feel like you don't have anyone to talk to, then you could actually talk to a therapist. But even talking to someone, sometimes talking to a friend or talking to a family member, because these people are usually very much emotionally involved in the situation as well.
Yes.
Because if, for an example, you are in an abusive relationship, talking to your friends and your family might, be tricky, because you talk to them, they are not objective. They can't be able to look at the problem from outside because they are also swamped into the situation.
Yes,
So they will
definitely.
be in their emotions as well, and they want to give advice, which is may not necessarily help. But I do encourage people to talk to their loved ones about the situations, because you want the support. And sometimes just talking, it sort of relieves you.
Yeah.
You finish
Yes,
ba?
umthwalo emagxeni,
Yes. But coming to the issue of talking to a psychologist, because I wouldn't leave it at talking to a friend just because a friend understands. Because what happens is that, like I said, a friend, family member, these people are actually involved in the problem. So they might not be
Definitely.
able to ask the right questions. They might not be able to challenge you also, to think outside of the box. They may actually take sides. They might not be, confident enough or bold enough to tell you off,
Yes, definitely.
to actually, like I said, challenge you. So when you go to a therapist, it's different, totally different from talking to a friend, because a therapist is somebody who is going to be trained, number one, to ask, because that's primarily what therapists do. We ask questions that are unlikely to be asked by your friends.
Yes.
We are not allowed to give advice in the true sense of giving advice. But what we do, we present you with different possibilities of solving a problem, because it's all about problem solving.
Yes.
So we ask the right questions. We do what we call psychoeducation, to just say, okay, this is what you're going through. We validate your feelings as well, which might not be there. Because, for an example, in the case of males, you mentioned men, those are the most vulnerable when it comes to mental health, because of how the society is structured.
Yes.
So they go to their friends and they talk about their problems. For an example, let's say you're going through a breakup, major breakup, maybe it's divorce, or you've been in this relationship for, a long time. So now you are breaking up, or the partner has actually left you. So your friends might be just saying, you know what, hi, my brother, man, you know what, uzomfumana omnye umuntu.
Yes.
Uyabona, no, man, just get another girlfriend, just get another one.
Which
and that
doesn't
is not
help.
helpful, because they're
doesn't
they're
help.
telling you now to just be on the rebound and get another partner and not deal with the pain and the grief and the
Matter
loss.
at hand.
Yes.
Matter at
Uyabo?
hand.
And also taking some time to reflect in terms of what led to the end of that particular relationship. What was my contribution to the end of the relationship? Not necessarily because you were abused, therefore it was your fault, but what did you bring into that relationship? Then, the psychologist is going to ask you such questions, but obviously, guys, not in a judgmental way. You get a space where you can be yourself. You don't have to censor anything. You can say, you can do, you can be yourself. You can be free, because you are talking basically to a stranger, so to speak.
So
Yes.
ungaqhabalaka nje uthethe nantoni na.
Yes. And you can cry. You don't have to perform as well. You can cry, and the psychologist is going to be there to say, well, it's okay to cry, and that kind of a thing. So the environment, for me personally, I've gone to psychologists, And I know how helpful, I knew in fact, and I still know how helpful. And even now, when I feel like, you know what, I'm in a tight corner, I'm feeling overwhelmed, I still go to a psychologist and I talk to somebody who's outside of the
space.
problem.
Yes. Comes back to uhlobo ke nam that I view and see into a psychologist. Remember ke wena I always say I'm unfiltered. Nam ukuze ndi channeling my inner child, I had to talk to someone. I won't say who's that someone, but I had to talk to someone. Ndithethe, a professional. It's very important ukudibana nomntu because remember one, akakwazi nokwazi lo mntu. Akazokujaja, akazothini uza nengxaki yakho, you come as you are. Because they are there to help us in a way. There's a stigma behind the psychologist because he's funeka imali at the end of the day. But there's places oya kuzo ezingafuni imali, more especially for men. Mna yona nto ndifuna encourage is that men should speak out.
Yeah.
More especially men. Men should speak out because everyone is a sonke, we are men.
Yeah.
But indoda must speak out. Mayiphele lanto yobana indoda ayikhali, indoda ayithini. And also ke sibaleke siye pha kwi-comments usisilaza wamamfene ubulisile ke watsho wathi my Nosi. Yes, siyabulisa ke nakuwe mamfene. And also sihleli naye ke naye ubongiwe nkohla esithi wonderful. And also ke ngoku sisinosi sibuyele kulaa mcimbi wabantwana, the importance of kids seeing psychologists, because I've got a little one at home, got a little sister. They are dealing with things.
Yeah.
They're dealing with things, and then I try to emphasize kubazali into yobana let the kid go see someone.
Yeah.
Because they speak abantwana, it's important for them to speak to people.
Yeah.
The importance ke ngoku yabantwana to come out and speak out. Onomnqoshwane.
Okay. It's a big one, and I'm very big on young people in particular. I've got projects that I do with young people.
Okay.
And I always encourage parents to take abantwana babo for therapy as young as possible.
Yes.
Because a challenge when I'm pull is that the longer you wait for ukuthatha umntana umse kwi-therapy, the harder it becomes, because once umntana akhule abe mdala, especially boys, once angene kwi-teenhood, it's difficult for you uba umthatha umse kwi-therapy. So the sooner we realize into kokubana there is a challenge, especially if there is an event eyenzekileyo. By event I mean there's a divorce, or maybe there's a tragic death of a loved one, or maybe umntana has changed his color, or anything, mhlawumbe utata has moved out, okanye mhlawumbe umama, like there's some separation that has happened. Even if umphulaphula kudivoswanga, mhlawumbe omnye umzali umuvile wayohlala elsewhere, mhlawumbe ngenxa yomsebenzi or whatever, but if you know that there's a major event that has happened ebomini bomntana, please take umntana to a therapist. Because what we do as therapists, because sometimes parents have a tendency to say, hayi suka usemncinci wethu, uyabo? Mphulaphule, the youngest client of mine was 4 years of age.
Oh, amazing.
Yes. And the oldest client so far has been 63 years of age. So what I'm trying to say is when umntana mncinci, we take them to a playroom. We playroom, we give them a space to play out their emotions. We, of course, we are trained to help them, to facilitate. Because like I usually say to my clients, all of us who are born with the ability to heal ourselves. However, therapists, social workers, and all the counselors are there to facilitate that healing. So whenever usazi ba, and don't wait until umntana aqale, especially boys, aqale mhlambe kuthiwa ubetha abanye abantwana esikolweni. Umntana is exposed to domestic violence at home. Umntana has been bullied at school, or whatever the case may be. Don't wait until ubone signs zobana umntana is traumatized, because sometimes abantwana bottle up izinto until ke ngoku it's too late. Iqale ke ngokuvela kulantuka kwi-teenhood. Remember xa bezi-teenagers, that is in a stage also they are trying to find themselves, they are trying to resolve a conflict that is their identity. And again, the next thing, there is this trauma that is unresolved, and then you find them starting to do all sorts of things, getting into drugs, a whole lot of other things that abantu abatsha bayenzayo. So I usually encourage parents, don't wait until umntana abonise into kokubana affected. That is what I did with my children. I knew that, okay, we are going through a divorce. I took them for therapy because I knew indobana a divorce is going to affect them. Yes. So also as a parent, equip yourself, read, so that uzokwazi understand. But xa kusenzeka lento, this kind of event, if there is any concern, don't wait until umntana I play out into kokubana there is something that is happening. take your children to therapy, guys, please.
Nake
Preventing.
mphulaphuli, nomthando weKithi Ngesi Radio nombukeli, because we're currently live pa ku Facebook ke. What I'm catching is the fact that izinto zininzi ezenza abantwana baqale babe ne behaviors is different change up endlini. So it's very important ke yoba umntana umse emntwini ayothetha, to speak out and to channel their inner behavior kuse early, because kuthiwa ke igotywa iselula. Sisimasi kumntu osimameleyo kumphulaphula ekhaya, what would you like to say kumntu ofa ngaphakathi, going through a relationship problem, going through a divorce? Because I can hear that you are very much on kalacala lobana, you need to be happy, you need to challenge your happiness, you need to challenge ubuwena ubungaphakathi. I don't know how to put this, but kumntu omameleyo ekhaya, what can you say to that person?
Okay, I always customize my message to different audiences. The first audience is going to be men or males, depending on what you want to say about them. There's an epidemic of single and lonely and depressed and suicidal. If you look at, like last year in South Africa, we lost about 3 celebrities, male celebrities.
Yeah.
You can go to Google right now. I don't want to mention names on air.
Yes.
But what was interesting about the whole thing was the fact that those were different generations. One was in the 20s, the other one was in the 30s, late 30s, the other one was in the 60s. You see the spread in terms of
difference,
age.
yes.
To show in the Gogbana there is no age group about this epidemic. So what happens there is that, we, like you said earlier on, amadoda are taught that indoda ikhali. Indoda ikhali ke mphulaphuli. It translates to, it translates to, as a man, don't seek help. You must always be in control. You must know what to do all the time. You must be strong. Even the definition of strength is problematic. It's counterproductive for men. So my advice, I usually say, even to my clients, if we can find a way to redefine strength, as a way of saying that as a man, I can start to solve the problem, but if I can see that I cannot solve the problem, then I can go out, and that is also part of manning up, because that's what we say. We say man up, indoda must. So the society still needs to evolve when it comes to that. But again, when we're talking to individual men, you must be able to listen to yourself, listen to your body, self-reflect, check your behaviors, check your thought processes, and check your feelings.
Yes.
Then once you do that, then you can tell when you are not okay. Talk to someone. If somebody laughs at you, somebody is not giving you the space, there is, there are therapists.
There are therapists, yes.
Yes, there are therapists. There are counselors, there are social workers, there are places that offer these services, like you indicated earlier on, that offer services, even free of charge. So that's what I want to say. And this thing about indoda khali, guys, bras, you are dying in numbers. Go now, Googlisha, and check how many men are losing their lives on daily basis. Because if we talk about 3 celebrities last year, remember, these are your role models. Your son is looking up to those guys. Person. So if these guys are actually unaliving themselves, what do you think is your boy? Like, what? Yes.
Yes. Because
yes.
In actual honesty, watye onke amazwi usisinosi, and she ininzi nje into endiyibambayo mphulaphula nomthando weKithi Ngesi Radio kule conversation sinayo. It is the mental health month. Wena ke mntu ongutata usazixelela into yobana andikwazi ukhala, khawukhale mani ubone uba kuzawuthini.
Yeah.
Khawuyokhala emntwini, more especially a psychologist, because that person is not going to judge you. Khawuyokhala emntwini, subulaleka ngaphakathi, because once uncikiveke ngaphakathi, a lot can go wrong.
Yeah.
A lot can go wrong. Masiyenze ke imizuzu ibe 18 wena mphulaphula nomthando weKithi Ngesi Radio emva kweyure ka 4 o'clock. It is the second hour of the KNR Drive 3 to 6 with myself, Uvuyo Kamting, in conversations with Usisi Nosi Ntweni. Amazwi akho okugqibela ke sisi.
Okay, so I just want to finalize lena yamadoda ubuthetha ngayo, because if they don't go and seek help with psychologists, end up bengena kwi-drugs, babe zi-alcoholics, babe zi-workaholics, babe promiscuous. There's a whole lot of things, and then get on suicide.
Yes.
But the message that I can give now to women is that there's a something common with women ngoku. I don't know what's happening, but in fact I do, because it's like nothing ngoku. We are moving towards unhealthy ways of masculinity.
Yes.
We are boss babes. We are doing it. We are going out. We are go-getters. So now there is this narrative about women now that, you know what, I don't want to cry anymore. You know what, I used to cry. I'm like, you are crying. You are not crying for him. I used to cry for him. I'm like, you're not crying for him. You are crying for yourself.
For yourself.
Yes. So as a woman, and another thing, in relationships, we tend to lose ourselves as women. We tend to give and give. We are taught to self-sacrifice. So we sacrifice ourselves, and by the end of the relationship, you don't even know who you are. So what I'm going to say is that as a mother, as a wife, as a woman, please make sure that you don't disconnect from your friends now. You connect to make sure that you have quite good quality friendships, but most importantly, center yourself. Now do your reflection, look at your behaviors, look at your thought process, look at your feelings. And when ubona into kokubana I'm not okay, go and seek help, talk to someone, but most importantly, reconnect with yourself.
Self-love ke itsho loo nto wena mphulaphula nomthandi weKithi Ngesi Radio. Nokuzithanda is very important, because uyawuhlala usithi andimlileli ngoba kutheni. Lilela isiqu sakho. Cry for yourself so that you can help you channel your emotions. And also ke sisi, xa sikufuna ke mhlawumbi umuntu umphulaphula osimameleyo ufuna ukhe ayokhala. Khalaphi? Kukhalwaphi?
Okay, so xa undifuna officeni ndikwa number 65 Devra Avenue apha Vincent.
It's already scrolling on the screen.
Yes. But please make sure, Mpulapul, that you send a WhatsApp or you call me, because I only see clients on appointment. If you go there, you just show up, you're not going to find me at the office. I only go to the office when I have an appointment with a client. So that's where you find me. In number yam 072 158 668 072 158 668. Ndiyafumaneka kwi-calls, ndiyafumaneka ku-WhatsApp. Ndikhona ke naku-Facebook, Happily Divorced Therapist Nosi, naku-TikTok, HD Therapist Nosi, naku-Instagram ke, but I'm not very big on Instagram. Yes, but most importantly, just give me a call or WhatsApp me, and then we'll take it from there.
Yabulisa ke naye unokwenza luzipho Ncingwana uthi hi Nosi. Yabulisa ke naye sisi Nosi, ndizambulisela on her behalf wena mphulaphula nomthandi weKithi Ngesi Radio. Nisivele ke into yobana uyafumaneka phaya ke e65 Devereux eVincent, and also ke pha kuFacebook unguye uHappily Divorced Therapist Nosi, TikTok HD Therapist Nosi, Instagram Happily Divorced 2021, and also ke uyibizile ke number yakhe wena mphulaphula esitsho ke sithi ngu-072 158 668. That is 072 158 668. Only for business purposes wena mphulaphula nomthandi weKithi Ngesi Radio. Ungaboni emhle enje. It's only for business purposes. Ndiyabulela kakhulu ke sis Nosi for joining me in studio. Highly appreciated, sisi.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. And Mpulapulu Sekaya, thank you so much also for
Tuning in,
Mamela,
yes.
and I hope you're gonna call me
For business purposes, I repeat, for business purposes. Currently, ke siyaphuma ke wena mphulaphula nomthandi weKithi Ngesi Radio ku Facebook, but ke you can definitely catch me pha ku www